Steve Poizner says California is heading over a cliff. Guess who was driving when it happened? Steve Poizner. In Sacramento, he's running an economic demolition derby. During the fiscal crisis, Poizner increased his department's spending nearly 14%. Poizner even went on a shopping spree, spending $1.7 million on new cars. No wonder Poizner tried to weaken Prop 13 and raise your property taxes. Now he wants to take the wheel in Sacramento. Buckle up.
Why we can't trust Steve Poizner. Reason 12. When Republicans in Congress voted to cut income taxes, Poizner joined Nancy Pelosi and opposed the tax cut. Poizner and Pelosi on taxes. They're two of a kind. Why we can't trust Steve Poizner. Reason 13. Poizner says he'll cut taxes, but the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association said Steve Poizner wanted to undercut Prop 13 and raise property taxes. Whoops. Why we can't trust Steve Poizner. Reason 16. Steve Poizner took his state bodyguards on the campaign trail, then refused to pay the state back for the cost. Wow, no wonder he's a zillionaire. Why we can't trust Steve Poizner. Reason 21. Steve Poizner gave $10,000 to help Al Gore try to win the 2000 presidential election. And you thought Poizner was a Republican. Why we can't trust Steve Poizner. Reason 29. Steve Poizner joined with liberal unions to weaken Prop 13 and raise your property taxes. Steve, he's no tax cutter. Okay, hit it, boys.
When trust is a must, who can you trust? You just can't trust Steve Poizner. Flip and flop is the name of his game. And if we trust him, we be insane.
There's a lot of reasons we can't trust Steve Poizner, like reason number 12. When Republicans in Congress voted to cut income taxes, Poizner joined Nancy Pelosi and opposed the tax cut. Poizner and Pelosi on taxes. They're two of a kind.
We can't trust Steve Poizner.
Or reason number 13. Poizner says he'll cut taxes, but the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association said Steve Poizner wanted to undercut Prop 13 and raise property taxes. He's no tax cutter. Come on, boys, big finish.
We can't trust Steve Poizner. Poizner.
Paid for by Meg Whitman for Governor, 2010. What I see in Sacramento is 90% advice and commentary and 10% doing. In the business world, it's 10% advice and commentary and 90% doing. So we have no choice but to make California far more efficient and effective than it is by running this thing a little bit more like a business. Government will never be a business. It shouldn't be a business. But it does need a dose of how do we do more for less? Californians want California to be great again, and I know we can make California great again.
You could tell even back in early 1999 when eBay was a small company that Meg knew what she was doing.
She has this ability to come to a very confusing situation, take a look, and figure out what the right thing to do is.
There was no playing things loose or close to the edge. We were going to do things the right way because ultimately that's the way you build a company to last.
She was always asking us to be as efficient as possible, to be as frugal as possible.
She gets in at the heart of the issue and she'll bring people together to resolve a problem. She's a problem solver.
She listens to people around her, and she will seek different and often conflicting points of view.
She makes people feel heard and makes them feel valued, but ultimately she's looking to make the right decision.
We can fix California, no question about it. It's going to take a different style of leadership, it's going to take a different approach, but we can make California great again.
Getting the endorsement of the State Farm Bureau is very important. It indicates a strong sentiment across the entire industry for a focus on this important issue of agriculture. And I think that's reflective of the fact that that Meg has gone to the board and has talked about the issues, such as water, which is so critical in the Central Valley.
You represent 80,000 farms in California, and you represent what is the essence of California's economy, which is the agricultural industry. And I know everyone here knows this, but it's worth repeating. The #1 county for agricultural production in the country is Fresno County.
We're looking for a candidate that understands some of the challenges that we have in our industry today. And Meg, when she met with our board of directors, she had open ears, and she's about solving problems and coming up with solutions. So we were glad to endorse her for governor.
You know, I am a big believer in the power of many, and what we can do together, none of us can do alone. And I cannot win this election without your help. I can't govern California without your help.
If you're a senior, retired, or living on a fixed income, if you own a home and pay property taxes, you need to know the real Steve Poizner. It was Poisner who funded the effort to weaken Prop 13. Poisner who campaigned to raise property taxes even for retirees. And during California's worst budget crisis, Big Spending Steve increased his department's spending by nearly 14%. Steve Poizner, way more liberal than he says he is.
I will say the #1 thing I think that faces California right now is actually a crisis of confidence. People are scared to death that California cannot be fixed. The most important thing that the next governor of California has to do is actually deliver the goods. The professional politicians have been fighting in Sacramento for years, and the state is in the worst shape that I've seen in the many years that I have lived in California. We can turn California around. I think actually I can make a huge difference. I have run large organizations. I know how to create jobs. I know how to focus. I know how to balance a budget. And I think a business perspective is a bit of what California needs right now. The things that I think we need to focus on are first, creating and keeping jobs in California. Second is cutting government spending. And third is fixing our education system. We need to have California be what it once was, and I think we can do it. Let's say what we mean what we say, and let's get it done. There's no question in my mind we have to cut government spending. This is not small, efficient, effective government. This has been spending that hasn't delivered real results to the people of California. Every family in California is cutting back. Every business is cutting back. I want to look at every taxpayer and say, we are spending your money like you would want it to be spent.
Meg Whitman, endorsed by the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association as the only fiscal conservative running for governor.
California is in the worst financial crisis in decades.
Meg Whitman has the values, the strength, and the skill to lead California back to greatness.
The governor's race has only one real fiscal conservative who will protect taxpayers and preserve Proposition 13.
A leader with the integrity and proven skills to bring California back.
Meg Whitman.
Meg Whitman.
Meg Whitman.
Strong.
Fiscal conservative.
A leader.
You know, politics is a tough business. Sacramento politicians like Jerry Brown and Steve Poizner are fighting me every step of the way because I'm running for governor to clean up the mess they've made. So let's get down to brass tacks. I strongly oppose Barbara Boxer, and I'm working hard to defeat her. On immigration, I will secure our border, and I'll send in the National Guard if necessary. I say no driver's licenses, no sanctuary cities, and absolutely no amnesty, period. At eBay, I was successful because I led with conservative economic principles. Our next governor must be tough enough to stand up to the unions and the politicians they control. We must cut wasteful spending and balance the budget, require work for welfare, and reform state employee pensions. We can turn our state around. The politicians won't help, but you can. Together, let's build a new California.
Behind in the polls, Steve Poizner has decided to stop telling the truth. Newspapers call his attack ad misleading and simply false. Here's a fact check. Only one candidate fought to weaken Prop 13. Poizner. Only one supported higher local sales taxes. Poizner. Only one increased his department spending nearly 14%. Poizner. And only one gave Al Gore $10,000 to help Democrats win the White House. Steve Poizner. Desperate, dishonest, and way more liberal than he says he is.